Hello, welcome to Build Up to a Good Game. It's Newcastle United against West Ham United. We've had a little fortnight of international football, but it's back to the Premier League as it's the crunch end of the season. Both teams competing for spaces of European football next season. Gonzo, how is oneself?
Very good, thank you, mate. Yeah, a bit of a rush like everybody else to get everything ready for today before the match starts on this early kickoff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. I think I'm quite pleased that it's an early kickoff. I don't know where everybody else is, but the sun's shining and whatnot. So I'm thinking, West Ham can start off the weekend with a win. The sun's shining, and we can all enjoy ourselves. There you go.
Right then, two questions. Obviously, we've got no Edson Alvarez. Can you tell me what you would like to see David Moyes do and what you think David Moyes will do?
Well, I think he will put James Ward-Prowse in there and just do a straight swap, because actually the opposite, and when I say the opposite, I don't mean Calvin Phillips, because I would prefer him to do Calvin Phillips just to give him a chance, because I do think, look, it was a discussion for another day, obviously, but I do think that we've brought this guy in to cover for Edson Alvarez. I think it's been so bad. I mean, for him not to even get a game now makes it a very, very bad sign, and probably pretty bad for the team, pretty bad for the player. However, what I do think is incredibly important in many respects, I don't mind whether it's Ward-Prowse or Phillips, is that he just puts somebody else in the middle. I don't want him to mess around with that front four. I want Bowen, I want Kudus, I want Paquetá behind, obviously Antonio up there as well. This is very important. So what would I do? I'd do Phillips. As long as you don't mess around with the rest of the team, I wouldn't be annoyed if you went Ward-Prowse, which is what I expect him to do.
Garino says it should be Callum Phillips, Thomas Souček, and Lucas Paquetá, but it won't be. Garino, you may be correct. We'll find out. Hammer Down Under said it might be Souček, Phillips, and Ward-Prowse. You may be incorrect, Hammer Down Under, but we'll find out in a few minutes' time. But I think you're wrong. Cyber has a hypothetical question for people, and we'll start with you, Gonzo. He says, if we could be guaranteed a draw in our next 3 games, would you take that? And he's referring, I assume he's referring to the league games, obviously, which is the next 3 anyway, which is Newcastle away, Tottenham at home, Wolves away.
No, I wouldn't. I think when you've got players like Kudus, Bowen, Paquetá, players like that, I think you've got a chance of winning any game. And I would have more ambition than that. So no, I would not take 3 points basically from the next 3 games.
No, either would I. Right, it's not the worst return, but I wouldn't take it either. Riley says, don't know why, but feeling optimistic today. I've got a little bit of a good feeling about it as well. Truth be told, I don't know, just feeling okay. Feza says Alvarez is too big of a miss. I don't see us getting anything more than a draw today, but Soma is also feeling somewhat confident. We'll see how everybody feels when the lineups come out in a couple of minutes. Obviously, the West Ham team and the Newcastle team. But a little bit of admin first of all. If you're a patron, please go log in now. The prediction competition is up and running for this game. You need to give us your correct score prediction and your first goal scorer of the match prediction. And the signed Lucas Paquetá shirt is up for grabs again, regardless of which tier you subscribe to. Even if you are at the lowest tier, which is a supporter, this Lucas Paquetá signed shirt will be the prize for that tier. And then you just get a little bit extra. If you're a mild addict or an addict, you will just get an extra prize as well as a signed Lucas Paquetá shirt. So if you're a patron, log in now and get your predictions in. You've got half an hour to get them in, so get over there. Also, Match Bingo is sponsoring this video as always. This is where you combine bingo with football. Now, I've got my cards ready to rock and roll for this one, and I'm quite optimistic actually, because one of my card does not include West Ham having 5 subs. So I just need us to do 1 sub. So I'm pretty sure that's in. So yeah, my card's got potential. But what is Match Bingo? It's where you get 15 things you need to happen in the game, but there's some really easy things in there, like West Ham to have a goal kick, Newcastle to have a throw-in, both teams take a kick-off, which obviously they will. One will take it at the start of the game, one will take it in the second half. Even if there's no goal scored, that's guaranteed wins. So you've got guaranteed winners on there. There's obviously trickier bits as well. 4 prizes up for grabs, first line, second line, full house, and then anybody else who gets a full house but didn't win the first call on full house, they'll get a share of the pot, £25, £50, £100, and a £100 pot to be shared among the other people as well. Right, Gonzo, would you like to know the West Ham starting 11 today? Let me just.
I would also like to point out we had a double winner last night.
Yes.
On Match Bingo, we had a double winner. Two lines. Hammers Chat subscribe, another one. I can't losing count, lost count of how many people won.
I've given up counting as well. Right then, we've got no Charlie today. He's ill, but I do have the West Ham team for you, but that's all I've got. But the West Ham starting 11 is as follows. Gonzo, just make sure I wrote it down right, please. In goal is Alphonse Ariel of the back four, Vladimir Sufal, Kurt Zuma, Konstantinos Mavropanos, and Emerson. James Ward-Prowse replaces the suspended Edson Alvarez, and he partners Thomas Souček in midfield with Lucas Paqueta in the number 10 role. Jared Bourne will begin on the right-hand side, Mohamed Kudus will begin on the left-hand side, and Michael Antonio as the striker for the Hammers this afternoon.
You spelt Nayfagurd wrong.
Anyway,
you spelled it with a Z.
What do you think of the team?
It's expected. It's a paint by numbers team. I'm actually happy with it. I have to say, it looks to me, unless he's going to do something ridiculously funky, it looks to me like it's as you were. We've looked a lot better with a front four, if you want to call it that. I think it's really important. If we're going to do anything in this game at all, and if we're going to try and create and carve them open, then you have to have your most creative player in the middle. And I think with this formation, we've probably got that. I think there's enough defensive solidity, I would hope, to keep Newcastle at bay. We have to sit a little bit deep, I think. But when you've got pace, for so many years, Gio, I've complained about West Ham. So we've had no real pace in attack. And I think we do now. Don't get me wrong. I think Antonio's a little bit slower than he was. And I don't think Bowen is lightning quick. But we've got Kudus there. You wouldn't call that front three slow. And I think that's important. I think what that allows you to do is perhaps maybe even more beneficial to David Moyes' tactics, which is probably going to allow him to sit back a little bit. But you've got somebody with the long passing range of Lucas Paqueta who can sit there and really spring those front three. I also think that this team is very, very important, actually, that what we do is try and look to exploit the fact that Sven Botman is not there. Now, as I understand it, he's trying to pay as much attention as I can to Newcastle fans all week. He's not been in brilliant form. He's got this knee injury, which I think is a little bit of a mystery to everybody, including Eddie Howe, judging by his press conference. But you know what? It's still, I think they have good centre backs to come in. I really do. But I think our front three have a little bit of everything between them. I think we've got some ridiculous trickery there. I think we've got some pace. I think we've got brute strength. I think we've got the dead-eye dick eye for goal of Jared Bowen as well. I think some really good positional sense. And I think what I would say as well, we do have a really good ability to beat an offside trap as well. So they see it's all sort of read Paqueta well. So I'm actually happy with that team. I think that's about as good as I could have hoped for.
Yes, Nayfagurd is injured, Louis, and I did forget someone, Garrido, but we'll do the bench in just a minute. I'll do the bench, but I forgot somebody, but I've got it now. I've sorted the bench now. It's all good to go. It is as expected by David Moyes. I would have preferred Phillips over James Ward-Prowse. However, I do understand why he's gone with James Ward-Prowse, because Calvin Phillips has done nothing to warrant a start today.
Yeah.
If Calvin Phillips did get a start today, it would have been on hope. It would have been, I hope this guy can just somehow be the guy we thought we were signing. That's it. That's the reason he would have begun today's game. But while Calvin Phillips hasn't shown anything to justify a start, I don't think the James Ward-Prowse and Thomas Souček partnership has shown anything to justify a start. But what they've also shown, as well as Calvin Phillips, is reasons to not start with this pairing in midfield. So he's almost had to pick between two bad options, really. Do you put your faith in Calvin Phillips individually, or do you put your faith in James Ward-Prowse and Thomas Souček as a partnership? And I think he's gone with the latter, because I think what he might feel is that Thomas Souček's in good form at the minute, and hopefully Ward-Prowse can play alongside him, whereas Phillips going in there, we don't know. Can Phillips and Souček play together? We do not know. I still would have went with Phillips because, I just don't like this partnership. I just don't like it at all. It's our biggest weakness today. And I'm happy with the rest of the team, actually. The back four, happy with. I'm pleased we've got the front four. We've got goals in that team as well. So we will cause Newcastle a threat. It's just,
All I would say is, and I don't have the statistics in front of me. By and large, there is a couple of occasions that buck the trend, but by and large, we lose with a midfield partnership of Souček and Ward-Prowse. All right. I think we might have won a European game and drawn another, but by and large, we're not very good. However, I do wonder how many of those times either Paqueta's not been there or he's been deployed on the left. That I wonder. So we might. One thing he can do. Well, he can do lots of things, but he does put a few tackles in, so he can help out in central midfield. He really can. He can also sit a little bit deeper. I would definitely expect Thomas Souček to almost solely take up the Alvarez role, and we get basically centre back Souček today. I think you may well find that he just sits there as well. So they may well, hopefully, collectively be able to sort of help out there. But Alvarez can be a massive miss because I just think he makes the midfield tick, and he has a real sense for danger. He anticipates danger as well, and I think Souček is good at reacting to it. Being in, getting in there and getting that header, and and throwing himself in front of the ball to make a block. But I do think Alvarez is ahead of him in terms of his thinking. I think he gets there and he wins the ball earlier and intercepts. I think it's a big game. I've got to say, I think it's a big game for Mavropanos today, because they're not going to enjoy the same level of protection that they get with Alvarez there. That's really, really clear. So big game for him in particular, I think.
Yeah, the Souček replacing Alvarez, I don't think he can do it, because a large part of Alvarez's game is dropping back and picking the ball up from the centre backs, and he's incapable of doing it. He won't do it, but he's also incapable of it. I think it's almost a little bit, they're almost going to have a hybrid defensive midfield role where we're out of possession. Souček's the one that's perhaps a bit deeper, protecting that back four, but when we're in possession, it's almost like Ward-Prowse is going to have to be the one that drops back to pick the ball up from the centre back. So they're almost going to have to switch up who's doing the Alvarez shift, if you like. And it's almost a bit like the Declan Rice conundrum when we went to Salem. It's like, well, we're going to have to get two players in to do what Declan Rice does. And then it's a bit like that with Alvarez. We're going to have two players to do what Alvarez does. But anyway, that's the West Ham team. The bench for the Hammers this afternoon is as follows, if I've done it correctly. We've got Lucas Fabianski on the bench, as well as Ben Johnson and Creswell. Angelo Bonner with Callum Phillips. Divine Mubama's on there. So is George Earthy and Danny Ings. But also Maxwell Cornet.
Wow.
Cornet's on the bench.
Wow.
Garino, that's what I was checking. I couldn't believe that Cornet was there. I was like, I've got 8. I'm missing someone. And it was Cornet I was missing. He's back on the bench.
Wow. He's amazing.
I'm quite excited, actually. It's an option. It's an option.
It is an option. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Orford's not on there, I have to say.
Who would you take off?
Mubama. There you go. Just to think with a central midfield situation.
Yeah, but the reality is we need a sub in the middle of the park. Phillips is coming on, regardless of what.
Yes. And he would probably chuck Johnson in there if he didn't do that. Yeah.
So I'm actually pleased with this bench. Weirdly, we've got Cornet on there. That's always fun. But I'm pleased to see Earthy's still involved. Johnson Creswell covers both full back positions. O'Borner's got the centre back covered. Phillips has got the midfield covered. Earthy's in number 10. Cornet is a winger, Mubama's a striker, can play out wide if needs be, and Ings is a striker, and can also play number 10. So we've actually got a really balanced bench. Whether we can discuss ability and whether they fit into the team, but in terms of positions covered, every position is covered on that bench, which is not something we could say every game this season. We've often been very defence heavy or very attack heavy, but yeah, quite a balanced options for David Moyes on there.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased with it, and I'd love to see Earthy get some time on the pitch again. I think that.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. Right, the Newcastle 11. I don't have it to put up on the screen. I can't type that fast. In goal for the Geordies this afternoon is Dubravka. He's in goal. Right back is Tino Livramento with 2 centre-back pairings of Lascelles and Shaw. Dan Burn continues at left back. Bruno Guimaraes is in midfield alongside Sean Longstaff and Joe Willock. We've got Jacob Murphy on the right, Anthony Gordon on the left, and Alexander Isak as the striker.
I mean, it's not their strongest team.
No.
They're competent, those defenders, to be fair. They're not all, it's not like they've dragged a load of useless players. Lascelles, was a really good performer, a couple of seasons ago, wasn't he? Let's be fair.
He did well at the start of this season, I thought. He had to come in at the start of this season. I thought he performed quite well, actually.
Shaw can be good. Shaw can be good. He's certainly had his moments in his career. He's one of those players that was actually tipped to do really, really big things. And you used to end up saying with players like that, "Oh, didn't you used to be the future?" And but he's certainly competent. He can certainly play well enough. I have my reservations about Dan Burn. I really do. I think
good chance for Bowen to get at him.
I think so, actually, down there. Isak, obviously, really, really good player. You got Longshaft in there, who's obviously good player, better than Declan Rice, if you remember. And yeah, and who's playing on the left for him?
Anthony Gordon will be out on the.
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, in really, really, really good form. Good at good. I've got to watch him cutting inside with a long shot. I mean, it's going to be. They're going to have their work cut out there. I think Mavropanos and Soufal with him, really, really good player. So, mate, it's a good team. They've got a really good team there, no doubt about it.
Kevin, the game is in 45 minutes. The lineup's going to come out 24 hours in advance.
What a build-up that would be. Crikey, I'll be knackered.
24-hour watch along.
Oh, wow.
By kickoff, like, you'd be discussing, what would you be discussing? You'd get to the point, why have we not recalled Nathan Trott and put him on the bench? Where's Nathan Trott's opportunity? It's always
I like the fact that Kevin thinks we are so well contacted that we've managed sort of, well, it's not even 24 hours, probably 30 hours before the game on Sunday to be able to get both starting lineups from both Eddie Howe and David Moyes. That's how good contact Sam has got, you see, in the know. Seriously.
We're just having a bit of fun, Kevin, but kickoff's at 12:30. As for that Newcastle side, listen, Caduceus got his work cut out. Tino Livramento will get forward, and I really like Tino Livramento. So Caduceus is going to have to get back. He can be a little bit choppy sometimes, Caduceus. He doesn't mind a yellow card, actually. It almost goes under the radar how many fouls he commits and stuff. So I think he's going to have his work cut out. But I do think Livramento and Byrne, there's an opportunity to get at both of them. I like Livramento's strong defensively, but he's still quite inexperienced in terms of the context of the Premier League. He's still one of the younger right backs. So I'd love him to get at him, and I'd love Bowen to get at Byrne and really try and cause them problems. In midfield, they're going to overrun us. I think they've got the midfield battle won. Guimaraes, Longstaff and Willock, it's not the best midfield on paper, but because of what we know how we will play, they will win that battle. Then it comes to the attack. Isak could have a little bit of fun if Kurt Zuma's only got one leg today, and Mavropanos is how many big mistakes is Mavropanos going to make? He usually makes at least one, sometimes two or three. So Isak will get opportunities. Gordon and Soufal will be an interesting battle down that side. I'm glad Soufal's in good form.
Yeah.
It has been a couple of weeks, obviously, but he's been in good nick coming into this one. And then Murphy against Emerson. This is where I'd be saying to Emerson, look, Murphy's all right, but listen, he's one of the weaker right wingers in the Premier League this weekend. If you were to go through all the 20 right wingers in the Premier League this weekend, imagine Murphy would be in the bottom 5 as to who you would want at your club. Emerson has to be getting at Murphy pushing down that left-hand side and getting Kudus pushing onto Livramento. So it'll be a good battle. I'll be honest with you. I'm not looking at this team thinking we've got no chance today.
No. That's not their best team. Far from it. And there is, I think as you say, Willock. To be fair, I'm crikey. Do you know what? I always check myself before saying this stuff because of what happened with Crystal Palace that time. But I'm going to say it anyway. I often look at Willock and think they overpaid for him. Here we go. That's going to bite me on the bum, isn't it? So I don't think, and I think Byrne never convinced him as left back. I got to say. So I think there is opportunity there. I mean, Isak's just going to be such a handful, though, and I'm worried about Isak and I'm worried about Gordon. There's no doubt about that. And it's going to be an interesting sort of a standoff between Guimaraes and Paquetá, who obviously both played for Brazil in the last international break. So that's going to be, and they're good mates as well, apparently. So that's going to be
they're
really,
best
really
friends.
Best friends.
Well, they were before Emerson got involved.
What I thought you were going to say then is not repeatable on YouTube.
You're filthy. You are filthy. There's no
we'll
need
discuss
for
it on
that.
Patreon.
I
didn't. Hey, listen. Don't get me wrong. Blame John Terry for putting him in bloody head.
Anyway, moving on to the Newcastle bench. That's like me blaming Ivan Toney if I have a bet this weekend. So it's Ivan Toney's fault, and Tonali's fault, and Paqueta's fault. Who else is at it? There's got to be someone else gambling in the Premier League.
I got a whopping bet this weekend. Will yield me £198,000 from 65p.
Right, wonderful. You can read that out in a second just so I can laugh at it. The bench for Newcastle this afternoon, again, I haven't typed it up. I can't type that fast. I missed Charlie. Cadius is on there as well as Dummett. We've also got Matt Ritchie and Harvey Barnes is on the bench for Newcastle. They do have a strong bench, actually. Kraft is on there, the right back, as well as Lewis Hall, who just doesn't get played. Almiron is on there, as well as Elliot Anderson, and then White. Don't know who he is, but White is on the bench. So there's quite an experienced bench for the Geordies this afternoon. Plenty of options on there. Harvey Barnes and Almiron are surely due to come on. Elliot Anderson will come on at some point as well. So there's your 3 Newcastle subs. Anyway, what's your ridiculous bet?
Oh, crikey! Oh, sorry, I wasn't quite prepared for that. I don't know why you.
I literally just told you get up.
All right, well, get up and try. Hold on a second. I've got it.
I want to know where this is, Carl. 8-1 for Bowen Orchidus to be first goal scorer. Where's that? What
my bets.
I like that bet.
My bets. I'm not joking. Look, you can see it on the bottom, 198,000 or whatever it is. Sorry, it's 70 pence, not 65. I'll tell you what I got. I got West Ham to win 3-2.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
Got Bournemouth to win 2-0. Crystal Palace to win 2-1. Tottenham and Luton are going to draw 2-all. Yeah, I should have done it as Tottenham Hotspur 2, Luton Town 2. And I've not gone for a score with Brentford, but I've got Brentford to beat Man United. Okay, right, there you go. Gonzo's going to be minted if all that wins, which it would, but if it all won, he's going to be minted. Right, we're going to compile a little bit of our own build, but while Gonzo may be minted with that one, hopefully one of you guys, I wouldn't say minted, but you'll get a little Easter bonus from us at Hammers Chat because we'll give the winnings to one of you. We're going to compile that in a second. Before we do, if you're watching this and enjoying the video, please do click a thumbs up, help drop a like on the video, and subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat as well. No watch on today because Charlie's not very well, and you can also support the channel by downloading Match Bingo. The link is in the description below. Please do use that link. The cards for the West Ham Newcastle game are £2 each, 15 things. If you've never played it before, I'd advise downloading it, signing up for it, and not doing the West Ham Newcastle game, and wait for the Aston Villa Wolves one today at 5:30 because it's a free card. Get your card for free, and you'll be able to get to grips with the game, how it works, and how you can potentially win money. Well, we've probably had over 20 winners now in Hammers Chat, including myself against Aston Villa. I won 25 quid against Aston Villa because I was the first person to get the first line in the bingo game. Right, Gonzo. Here you go. Brad said, didn't even realise we've won 25 on Match Bingo. Brilliant. There you go. There you go. They must be operating at a loss. Honestly, they're paying us lot. You need to get on it. It's you lot, and even Geo. The only person that hasn't won's me. But you lot are winning so much bloody money on it. Someone won 50 quid. Like honestly, popped up in our WhatsApp group. Someone won 50 quid.
I was asking if we've ever won a bet on the bet giveaway.
One.
We've won more than one. We've won about 3. It's when you're away. We've won one this week. We've won one this season. Brian, who's in the live chat, won the money. It's when you're not here. Just saying. What would you fancy today? What do you fancy today, though?
Well, I feel affronted. Actually, I feel I probably shouldn't say a bet. Let you do the bet in that case. I'll just do the phrase. I'll tell you what though. Would be 3-2 with West Ham. I've got to say a West Ham win. I've got to say a West Ham win to win someone some money.
Brian's just confirming he won the money and got the money. Brian,
you're not lying. Don't lie about this stuff.
Brian won the money.
People win. My Match Bingo. Who won the pack of tiles? Was it the Areola shirt last week on our Patron? Or was it 2 weeks ago? Someone won
Collingwood.
That.
Do you know the things though, right?
Yeah.
So Collingwood won the signed Sufal shirt in the prediction. No, he won the Areola shirt in the predictions, right?
Yeah.
And he won the signed Jared Bowen shirt, which is here actually. He won. I did the bet giveaway. Not the bet. Didn't do the normal giveaway on Patreon every month, right? So Collingwood won an Areola shirt with his prediction. He's got it. Then I did the draw for the monthly one, and he won the signed Jared Bowen shirt.
Well, maybe he could do the bet.
So Collingwood won 2.
I didn't know he'd won that one. I didn't know he'd won the Bowen one. Yeah, I mean, we're not lying about this stuff. Honestly, particularly on Patreon, people win a lot of stuff.
They award it automatically. Phil. Right, Gonzo, we need to do this bet. What are you fancying?
West Ham win.
Let's West Ham win. Both teams to score. Let's chuck that in. That boosts the odds up a bit. I'm going to put in, and this is where the odds will get a little bit tasty. I'm going to put in James Ward-Prowse to commit 2 fouls.
Oh.
Because when Alves hasn't played, he's committed more fouls, so that's why I'm putting that one in. Areola, and I'm also putting this one in. Areola to make at least 3 saves.
Yeah. What about Bowen to have some shots?
Bowen to have 2 shots or a shot on target? Which one?
2
Pick
shots.
One. 2 shots. That'll do. That should give me. That does. £170 cash. If this bet wins, one of you will win £170 this evening. West Ham to win the game. Both teams to score. James Ward-Prowse to commit 2 more fouls. Jared Bowen to have 2 more shots. And Areola to make at least 3 saves. If that bet wins, one of you will get the cash. To enter in the live chat, please put the following phrase.
Well, I'm not going to do that one, Brian. That's a scurrilous accusation, and clearly you were in the breakfast show this morning. But I have seen what a few of you are saying about Zuma in the back line. So I think today's phrase that pays is going to be Zuma frame.
Zuma frame, get that into the live chat, and if that bit wins, one of you guys will get the winnings. Right, Gonzo, you've seen the teams. How you feeling?
Good. I am. I think that's as good a team as Moyes. That's it. Thank you, Jan. That's as good a team as Moyes could have selected today. I really do think so. I was worried. Look, I give him a lot of stick when I think he's overly negative. I was dreading actually that he was going to drop Antonio to the bench and then go do the whole thing where Paquetá on the left and Ward-Prowse in attacking midfield, and that's what I was worried. He's not done it. This is in David Moyes' terms. This is David Moyes trying to win the game. It really is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And look, the thing that I hope is with this, if it starts working. And it is working. I just really hope that he is savvy enough with his coaching staff as well. That let's say we get into a lead at half time. The West Ham coaching staff at half time turn around and say, right, he's going to do something now because we're not very good at this. Eddie Howe's going to do something. Let's be prepared for it, and whatever he does, let's counter it within 5 minutes of having a look at it in the second half. I know that's a lot of ifs and buts, and we would have to be leading at half time. But that's for me, and it sounds ridiculous for a man who's coached over 1,000 games at professional level. But I feel that would be the next layer for Moyes, because sometimes he does get his starting tactics right in games, but I think he very quickly is sometimes in games gets assessed, gets looked at by the opposition manager. They make a tweak, they make a few subs, they change the shape, and then at that point, David Moyes, has no. It's like a game of poker where someone calls his bluff and he just folds. He has no answer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'd like. I'd be prepared in that sense. But make no mistake about it. I think this is really important. You asked if I'm looking forward to it. We're looking at their team, and I said Gordon and Isak, good players. Make no mistake about it. They are looking at Jared Bowen. They're looking at Antonio, and they're looking at Kudus, and they all provide different threats, and they're going to have to be worried about those front three. And while they're worried about that front three, they're certainly not going to be able to cut out all of them. They may well at times double up on someone. It might be Paquetá. They might double up in midfield on Paquetá to stop that going for, but it's going to leave space, and it's going to leave space for somebody else. So I'm looking forward to it. I often go to St James's. I haven't gone anywhere. I've sat in my shed, but often when we go to St James's Park, I often think we don't stand a chance because it's such a formidable place to go. The raucous fans, our away fans are stuck up, sort of stuck on top of the floodlights right at the back sort of thing. And we don't get a chance to impact the game. It's a tough place to go, and they've got a good record. And so you've got all the fans, you've got the atmosphere, and they're a good team. So you've almost got everything going for them. I never go up there thinking that we'll get anything other than a loss. But today, I think we go up there with almost our best team, but the player missing might well be our best player.
Jeff said, was Antonio away? No, he was not. Him and Kudus did not go away for international break. They were both injured and remained at West Ham. A few players was away, obviously, but Antonio Kudus was not. So get your thoughts into the live chat. What you're thinking about the West Ham team, Newcastle team, any big hopes and fears you have ahead of this game? I'm quite happy with it. I think the midfield, not happy about that, but I'm really happy with the attack. I think they're going to cause us problems in midfield. I think we're going to cause them problems going forward. But I think just goals in this game. I don't think this game's finishing 0-0. I'll be surprised if both teams don't hit the back of the net at least once. And this is a big game, make no mistake about it. You know, Sky will focus on the fact that Man City are taking on Arsenal tomorrow, and that's a big game as well for the title race. But these games for European spaces or for avoiding relegation are just as big. They might not be as financially lucrative to the clubs. You know, winning titles worth more than a team jumping into Europa League space. Avoiding relegation is worth a hell of a lot more to the team winning the title. But for the fans of these clubs, it maybe not means the same, but it's the equivalent, isn't it? West Ham qualifying for Europa League is the equivalent of Man City winning the title. It's the equivalent of Luton staying in the Premier League next season. So this is a massive game for both of us. And if we win this one and go 7 points ahead of Newcastle, yes, they have a game in hand, but I believe it's against Man United, so it's not an easy one. It really does put us in good stead. And if we can beat Newcastle and Wolves, I'll get excited that we might have European football next season. But on the flip side, Gonzo, we were to fail to win, then I'm going to get a bit grumpy, truth be told. This is a big game. This is a massive game for us today. Make no mistake about it. It's just a bigger game for them as well. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm really nervous about the Souček Ward-Prowse thing. And what I'm away to say, I don't necessarily believe it myself, because I've seen too much evidence of other things in the past. But surely Moyes' coaching staff, the analytics department, know that Ward-Prowse and Souček has not worked thus far. Surely they've come up with something different. It could be the positioning. It could be that actually neither of them go forward. They both just sit. Instead of having Alvarez sweeping across the entire back four, actually Souček's got half a pitch and Ward-Prowse has got half a pitch. Hopefully they've done something, and it just means that Paqueta doesn't have to come back at all, really. So you just stay forward. Maybe it's dropping Paqueta back and it's more of a 4-3-3, and Paqueta's a bit of a number 8 today alongside, say, Ward-Prowse and Souček's a defensive midfield. I'm just hoping there's a tactical tweak to avoid the exploitation of the Ward-Prowse-Souček partnership that we've seen this season. Do I believe it? No, I don't. Because I've seen things I'm not happy about within the past last too long. And this, while we've seen evidence of this pairing not working, it's not that often. There's a handful of games that Alvarez has missed, and it's almost not enough to us to do something. So I'm a bit worried about the midfield, but I'm quite excited about our attack. But anyway, shall we take a look and see what the live chat's in?
For sure, yeah. Some people are worried about the midfield. I've been reading it going.
It's hard not to be. Roger said I can see a 2-1 or 3-2 defeat. Just think our defence is weaker than theirs, and they will win in the middle of the pitch in midfield. Hammer 99 says midfield concerns him. We'd have gone for Phillips as he's got more legs and Ward-Prowse. He's also played the 6 far more often in just a different style. Jeff says there's no watch along. He's wanting to know if they can come around and watch in your shed.
Actually, all the kids are in the garden at the moment. There's a bit of sunshine. They've gone full Karate Kid. It's they're painting a fence basically. So
maybe Kevin's on his way because he thinks kickoff's tomorrow. He'll make it.
He might do.
Steve says got to get hold of the ball in midfield before we can release our front players, and that's where the problem will arise with that midfield lineup. Nick said, God help us if we go 1-0 up. Moyes will go into ultra defensive mode. Souček and Ward-Prowse will get absolutely battered. Johnny says he thinks he's going with Ward-Prowse for a threat of a free kick while we attack them for 30 minutes. Paul's asking about 8 places. We have to wait and see. It's likely. Basically, we need to cheer on the 2 Manchesters and FA Cup semi-final. If they both reach Wembley, then it'll probably go down to 8.
Got a poodle there, Paul. I think he's got a poodle.
Rob says, happy with the rest of the team, but the Souček Ward-Prowse partnership has never worked, and I'm not sure it will today. Why did we loan Calvin Phillips? Vu says, I don't get why he's gone Ward-Prowse over Phillips, unless Souček is going to be sitting in with Ward-Prowse supporting Lucas Paqueta. Patrick says, not seen a Ward-Prowse Souček with Antonio up front.
That's true.
Somewhat optimistic.
That's true. That is true. I have to... The optimist in me, Geo, has to agree with you, which is, I mean, we both know that, well, we all know that this midfield doesn't work. So I have to assume they are going to try something different. I think you'll see Paqueta deeper. I think, don't be surprised if when we're doing our player ratings on Monday that we're looking at Paqueta, whatever you want to call him, having lots of tackles again. So in the stats, when we look at the stats, I wouldn't be surprised about that at all.
Bill said, I'm hoping Ward-Prowse is sitting a bit more. I find he gets caught out sometimes. He needs to be there to collect it when the ball is poked away from our box.
I think they'll both be sat there.
John Paul says we have to see over the next 3 games where Calvin Phillips' career might be going. Maverick Chris Akabusi was right. He is supposed to be a big player for the big game. Tyrone says Ward-Prowse is better than Calvin Phillips. Bro earlier said that Calvin Phillips is not good or not in good form. He says he's awful. He said he's glad Phillips isn't playing because he is awful. Jordan says us having 4 tackles on the pitch should mean more set pieces for us. Steve's concerned if Newcastle score first, we'll get blown away. William says, honestly feel Phillips has been more unlucky than crap, but I guess that's the story for half of his career.
It's a weird one. I mean, he was absolutely 100% brought in, I believe, and this is the priority. They were both for the same reason, which is Alvarez. One of them for his suspensions, and one of them for when he goes on to international duty and he comes back and he's knackered. So I think Moyes looked at it and thought, okay, he probably knew that in the running that Alvarez was going to miss about 5 games. So he's brought in a defensive midfielder. So I think for him not to be used is really, really, really quite telling. So I do think there was a situation where Moyes was saying, don't worry about the wingers, don't worry about all that other stuff. I need a central defensive midfielder, and ideally I want him. So for him to be discarded like that, I'll tell you what, you are going to see a massive demise in terms of the value of a player. It'd be amazing. Honestly, Man City were looking at trying to secure a £40 million option after he came on loan to us or something like that, obligation, whatever it might have been. I think now by the time he's finished on this loan career, if it carries on like this, they won't get £20 million for him from anyone.
A couple of people saying what Moyes had just said in an interview. Ready? Derek said Moyes had just said he regards himself as an attacking manager, and James says he's just told TNT that he considers himself as an attacking manager.
He's off his rocker. Honestly, I don't want just own what you are. I don't get it. I don't get. Well, just say, look, I'm a defensive manager, and if I can, I'll try and shoehorn some attackers and play some counter-attacking football. He is not. He's just not. He's deluded if he thinks that. Everyone knows. They roll off your tongue. Everyone knows who the attacking football teams are, and he doesn't produce attacking football teams. Well, once there was one game, I believe, at Man United. I'm not saying it's the only one, but there was one game at Man United where they produced, in that one game, Manchester United produced the most crosses of any team in the history of the Premier League. He broke the record. But that's like one game.
This is where I think he rubs people up the wrong way. This is where
he might be winding everyone up.
This is where I just think, just stop. Like, you don't. That comment, he will know that will rile people up. It's just one of them. It's just unnecessary. Just chill out. Yeah. Anyway, since we don't have Charlie for watch along today, we're going to wrap this up in 5 minutes. So, but before we do, can we get your score predictions in the live chat, please? Please make it obvious who you're going for, because if you put 2-1, it's difficult to know if you mean Newcastle because they're the home side of West Ham, because you're a West Ham fan. It's difficult to differentiate. So just make it clear who you're going for. Get your score predictions in, and while you're doing that, Gonzo, in the preview you said 3-1 Newcastle, but on your bet you said 3-2 West Ham. So what are you feeling?
Well, you know what? The thing is, I can't sort of help myself. I do get. I mean, thank goodness, I get excited and I let my positivity run away with me before matches. Match day, I get the buzz and I get all the rest of it. So the sort of rest of the week, if you want, the head's thinking, isn't it? And you get to match day and the heart's there, and
that's important. I think that's important. If you don't have that, then what you got?
Well, you big. I say you. I'd be miserable. Honestly, I'd be miserable all the time, and goodness, I'm miserable most of the time. So hopefully, just at the weekends, I can not be. That being said, I am aware that my emotions might be getting the better of me, and I see the team. I still can't. Maybe my head is overruling my heart, and then maybe the sunshine is playing a part in my good mood. It's been raining for like last week. St James's Park, Newcastle, Moyes not being able to switch things at half time, and the loss of Edson Alvarez. I got to be honest with you. I think I'm more preview than my bet. Put it that way. Yeah,
it's a difficult one. If we had Alvarez, I'd be feeling confident. Actually, if we had the same team at face value, I said, you know what, I think we're going to win today.
Yeah,
but we don't, and that loss is significant. I'm going to stick with my draw. but it's one of those games I find it hard to call, actually. It's not a strong feeling that we're going to draw this game. Glenn says 4-1. Unsure who to. But Cyber says 2-2. Fezzer says 2-1 Newcastle. Steve says 4-1 Newcastle. Freddy's 1-1. Onions is 2-2. Doug says 3-1 West Ham. Last Dog is 1-1. Al is 2-1 West Ham. 2-2 says Jay. Webley says 4-2 to Newcastle. William says 2-1 West Ham. Paul is also going 2-2. Bacon's feeling lucky. He says 3-1 West Ham, while Phil's 2-1 West Ham. Avid says 3-1 Newcastle. Size 2-1 West Ham. Kevin's also 2-1 West Ham, as is Daniel. Alex is going with your bet, as he says 3-2 West Ham. He reckons Antonio's going to grab a goal.
Ooh,
Glenn is reiterated it was 4-1 Newcastle. 3-1 Newcastle, says Hammer Down Under. But Blown Bubble says 3-1 West Ham. Brian's going for the most popular score prediction, I think, which is 2-2. Richard's 3-0 Newcastle. Billy's 3-1. Dom is 4-1. And Roger's 3-2. And Doctor is 5-1. And they're all for Newcastle wins. Peter is also saying a 3-1. Michael says 2-1 with Bowen scoring first because he wants that signed Paqueta shirt. That's a prediction over on Patron.
There you go.
Tanner's 2-0, Justin's 3-2 Newcastle, Logan's 3-1 Newcastle, Dean saying we're going to win 3-2 or 2-1. He's not sure, but we're winning. Phillips 2-1 West Ham. Kevin says going 3-1 West Ham, but tempted.
Hello, Kevin. Hope you're well, mate. I think Kevin's over in somewhere sunny, if I'm not much mistaken.
But Bill says 3-1 Newcastle. Anyway, it's quite a balanced one. Charlie's entering the bet giveaway.
That's quite right. So from the confines of his cloakroom, let's say that.
We don't have the Newcastle team. Charlie's ill today. So Jack's saying that Joe Cole's just said can't see Paqueta staying at West Ham for long. There's too many good clubs will want him. The case 2-1 Newcastle.
I saw it. Jack was interviewing Paqueta. I saw it.
He was dancing with Paqueta.
He was.
Gary's 3-1 West Ham. Iron Ore is 3-1 Newcastle. Jack is, funny enough, Jack is 2-1 West Ham. Rob's 2-0. I think that's the most popular score prediction. I think the Desmond is the most common one. Nate's also 2-0 as well. So there's a few 2-0s as well. Thank you very much, Brian. He says, thanks, welcome back, boys. Well done. Come on, you Irons, with $5. Thank you very much. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed one. I think there's more Newcastle than West Ham predictions.
It's a tough one.
And I always sort of take off 10% for West Ham due to we're West Ham fans. We get optimistic and excited. So I think So I think 10% is almost like a fair percentage to knock off for optimism. I don't add it on to anything else. I just think if 100 people say West Ham win, I say okay, but 90 people think we'll win. There's 10% thinks that just getting a bit excited.
Yeah, I think I'm managing to sort of control my emotions today because
not on Bet365 you weren't.
No, but let's be fair. I'll just think one day in my life, I've been doing that stuff for years. I'll just think one day I need one bet to come in at one point in my life, and then imagine that. I did once. In fact, I don't know if you remember this. I showed you. I once got, I think it was like a 15p bet up to £120. I did that. That's the best I've ever done.
Do you know those bets? You'd be better doing like a lucky 15 or something.
You'd have to show me. I don't know about this stuff.
Because then if 2 win, you still get returns.
But I think I'm unlucky as well. I think that's the other thing. It's like everyone, like you lot and you've all won on Match Bingo. Everyone wins on Match Bingo. I don't win on Match Bingo. I just think I'm no good. That's why I don't bet big money because and you don't have to bet big money on Match Bingo, which is a bloody good thing. And that's why I like free betting. Yeah, so I think I'm not very good at betting and I'm not lucky. So I wouldn't put any amount of money on anything. Super 15. How much you got to put down on that Super Duper 15 or whatever?
It depends on your stake, really. You can do anything. You can little as much as you want, really. But it's obviously 15 bets. You pick 4 scores. Mm-hmm. You do a lucky 15 that covers 15 bets. So you cover double trebles and your quadruple. So if 2 win, you'll make a profit. The odds you're doing, you'll
have to do a Zoom call on that. Sounds complicated.
Yeah. John, I do use Bet365. I use 3 bookies. I'm banned from a few. William Hill.
For winning, because he wins.
William Hill and Ladbrokes were the 2 first ones to go. There's a reason. Ladbrokes and William Hill never sponsored Hammer's Chat. Because I could never promote them, knowing that my account's suspended with them. I can never be like, hey, join this betting app. However, they will suspend you. So
if you win.
We can't do it. We do have some models. We do have some filters when it comes to brand deals here at Hammers Chat, despite what some people may think. But anyway. Right then, Nick says, boys has a treat today as a rehearsal for the Leverkusen game. I'm not sure about that. Today's got a lot at stake. If we were 12th in the Premier League, I'd agree with that one. It's all about Leverkusen, but for me, there's still a lot to play for in the Premier League. This game's, I wouldn't say as important as Leverkusen. I think it's just as important. Well, I would, but in a different way. Leverkusen's important because we want glory, we want to win a trophy. But today's important because we want to qualify for European football next season. So it's different, completely different reasons. But I think today is a massive game.
It is, and let's be fair, because of Tuesday? Tottenham, isn't it? Tuesday. Is that? Have I got that right? It's Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
I mean, it's a quick turnaround. It's a quick turnaround. At some point, someone's going to need a rest. I don't just mean Edson Alvarez.
Yeah, but anyway, right, we're going to wrap it up there. Sorry we don't have Charlie today, but he's not very well. He's here. He's watching the game too, so I'll be live tomorrow with Charlie. He is watching the game. He's just
earlier on
watch out his computer.
Earlier on, Hammer Down Under did the most Aussie post I've ever seen, and he basically accused he accused Charlie of being on a Danny. The only thing he didn't say was "you ripper," or he actually accused. He said he's on a Danny. I thought that's the most Aussie post I've ever read.
So there you go. But I'll be back at full time with the review. Gonzo will be back not long after me over on the home channel with his match review as well. So you can join us at full time. But we're going to end the show there. But before you disappear, please do drop a like on it. Kevin, the kickoff is in 18 minutes. Kevin,
not 18 hours.
He said that comment and left. So I don't know if he's going, the game's tomorrow. Oh, don't need to worry about this stuff. I'll tune in tomorrow.
Imagine if he's already stuck on the train to Stratford. Do you know what I mean? He's thinking, oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's
taking the overnighter to Stratford.
Yeah, wrong stadium for the start, but never mind. Anyway, Kevin,
I don't know the location, and he doesn't know the time. Welcome to Hammers Chat.
Right, we'll catch up with you in a bit.